Alrighty, now it's time to go to the next level. So what if we want to be watching two different things at the same time, like I mentioned earlier? We're going to need to put switches inside of switches. So let's throw up a switch here, for example, and by default it always just has the touch sensor, but let's change that from touch sensor to say we haven't used this one yet, but you're going to see it's very similar. The infrared sensor, we're going to tell it to measure, no, not the infrared, sorry, the ultrasonic sensor. We're going to have it measure distance in centimeters. So we're going to turn that on, and it's going to say less than 50. I'm going to change that down to 20 centimeters. That's a pretty close distance. And so it's going to be watching the infrared or the ultrasonic sensor. If I put it on the front of my robot, ideally that should be looking for something in front of it, like the wall, for example. And so if it's going to run into the wall, we want it to not do that. So if it sees that it's within 20 centimeters of the wall, then we're going to want it to stop. So I'm going to put on a stop, put on the brakes, and then I want it to, navigate away from that wall. So I'm going to need some kind of way for it to navigate away. Maybe I'm going to tell it to run the motors backwards, slow down and just go and back up a little bit. Right, for maybe half a rotation, and then I'm going to want it to avoid that wall by turning. So I'm going to put on a turn here, put on my 30, and then my negative 30. Let's switch it and have it turn the other way this time. And one rotation, we'll see if that turns it away from the wall enough. So that's what it's going to do if it sees it. But then down here we want it to do like we were doing before, where it was looking at all the different colors and reading those colors. So to do that, we need to be able to look at the light sensor, not the ultrasonic sensor. So let's go back over here and put another switch in there. We can put a switch inside of another switch. And so now it's first going to check and see, is it close to the wall within 20 centimeters? If it is, it's going to not hit the wall. But if it's not close to the wall, then it's going to come down here. It's going to take a look at another sensor. So now let's go back and have it take a look at that color sensor and just have it measure the color and see what it is. And so from here, it's very similar to what we were doing before. You're just going to want to have it go forward and read those colors. So right now we don't have a go forward block in here anywhere, so somewhere in here you're going to have to tell it to be driving as well, and that could be out in front of the loop or right in front of here. Sometimes that's a good place to put it. I'm going to let you experiment with that a little bit. I might put a block right here and just say, hey, turn the motors on. So the motors are on, then it checks the light sensor, and now it's going to read these different colors and come around, and anytime it gets close to the wall it's going to move though. So I'm going to leave it just like this, and so you can kind of explore and play around a little bit with how you would add more to this program to get it to drive around the field, reading off the different colors, but not running into the wall by using a switch inside of a switch. Now remember, as you add more sensors, be real cautious that you're putting your sensor ports, plugging them into the same value that it says it's plugged into there on the switch. Otherwise you're going to have things not working, just like your motors and things. So have fun exploring with switches inside of switches and see what things you can do. Now you are welcome to use a different sensor besides the ultrasonic sensor for seeing the wall. If you want to figure out how to do a touch sensor there or something of that nature, go for it.